Hey there everyone, it's Scurvy back again with another video, and today we're basically going to be reviewing this Psychology Today article called The Rise of Lonely Single Men, and then it's a little subheader, Dating Apps and a Drastically Changing Relationship Landscape. So let's just jump right into it. So the key points, we'll go over that first. Actually, before we do, it's actually going to be a little bit of a format change when it comes to these reading article type videos. I'm actually going to try and interrupt myself less often. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get through like a paragraph or even something like bullet points like these before I really start talking. Now, with that being said, let's begin. So the key points are: dating opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as relationship standards rise. Oh no. Men represent approximately 62% of dating app users, lowering their chances for matches. The last one: men need to address skills deficits to meet healthier relationship expectations. Okay, we're already setting ourselves off on a bad foot here. So let's go over this first one. Dating opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as relationship standards rise. When it comes to that, it's a good thing that men actually have standards these days, and that they're not going to just like settle down for any old floozy on the street. I think that's actually good. I also think it's good for women to have realistic standards, not the batshit high standards they have now. And once again, not all women, should be known, not all women. You might hear me say that again throughout reading this article. Next point: men represent approximately 62% of dating app users, lowering their chances for matches. That's just kind of how it is on these apps. Like, the user base is majority men, anyways. And even in this article later on, actually has something to say about the paradox of choice. Well, I don't think it says it all that well though. Men need to address skill deficits to meet healthier relationship expectations. Now, the thing is, when it comes to these expectations that the chicks are having, no way can an average guy, even one who's actually like stepping it up in his own life, no way can he actually meet the expectations of even like a 6 out of 10 girl, because that 6 out of 10, her expectations are like looking for an 11 out of 10 when she herself is a 6. So, yeah. Now let's actually get into the article here. Younger and middle-aged men are the loneliest they've ever been in generations, and it's probably going to get worse. This is not my typical rosy view of relationships, but a reality nonetheless. Over the last 30 years, men have become a larger portion of a growing group of long-term single people. And while you don't actually need to be in a relationship to be happy, men typically are happier and healthier when partnered. Here are three broad trends in the relationship landscape. The marketplace is a guy's channel, as a guy's channel would say, that suggests heterosexual men are in for a rough road ahead. So, it's mainly with this part that I kind of agree with. There is data that backs the guy going his own way when he's like in his 60s. Like, it's really not that good of a lifestyle. You kind of need to have someone to like take care of you, especially since the nursing homes are full of like crazy leftists. So you kind of want to have your own kids to like help take care of you when you start to reach that age. Anyways, and also I'm glad that I found a new term for guys going their own way. Long-term single people. That's a fine term to use, I guess. If YouTube is gonna be really annoying about language here. So let's go over the first point: dating apps. That's a big one right there. That's a big one. Whether you're just starting to date or you're recently divorced and dating again, Dating apps are a huge driver in new romantic connections in the United States. The only problem is that upwards of 62% of users are men, and many women are overwhelmed with how many options they have. Competition in online dating is fierce, and lucky in-person chance encounters with dreamy partners are rarer than ever. So, you want to know why dating app usage is up so much, especially since 2020? I have one simple phrase: the lockdowns. Turns out when you force everybody to be a hikikomori, it's not going to be great for developing relationships, whether it be like romantic ones or just like friendships. So, of course, online dating is going to get a huge increase. And then, not to mention, with the more users, means more desperate beggars, which means more money for these dating app companies. Remember, they're not on your side, people. Anyways, also, there are a lot of men on these dating apps. Like, that's absolutely true. Something like Tinder is predominantly male. And then, this creates an effect called the paradox of choice for the women that use these dating apps. So the paradox of choice, to sum it up simply, let's just say you have 10 brands of mustard. They all taste exactly the same. The recipe is exactly the same. It's just the brand name that's different. Like, you see the options in mustard you have, but you don't know which one you're going to choose. And so usually the effect is you don't choose anything of mustard. And that's what's happening when it comes to the women on these dating apps. Like, and then that, and also their insanely high expectations for what they want in a guy when they themselves are like 6 out of 10s. And so you see, it's like, I'm not even gonna, I guess the effect that this has on the ladies that use these apps, it's like, oh, I'm not really gonna just swipe right on a bunch of guys. Like, they could be horrible people, despite you probably not even reading their bios or something like that, something stupid. And so they're only really swiping on 20% of the guys. That's where the 80-20 truth basically comes from. 80% of the women are going after the top 20% of guys. Like, hence the competition in online dating is fierce. That's mainly for women. Like, for average guys like myself, it's like, I wouldn't really say it's fierce, because she's not even gonna like my profile. It's sad, I know, and it's also fucking stupid. And then also, because everybody's dating online, you have people now who, whose social skills are probably on my level when I was 18, and I'm on the fucking autism spectrum. That's really saying something. And so, it's just a snowball effect of, because this happens, then this happens. Like, really, we're not, like, there's a reason why, not a sizable portion of this fucking country is on the autism spectrum. Because if everybody were, then, it probably wouldn't be the greatest society, to tell you the truth. In addition, yeah, we're seeing this among the neurotypical population now. Like people are becoming, like, just crazy shut-ins, and the chicks are just developing these crazy high standards that no guy, not even the top percent, can achieve. Like, look at what's happening to Tom Brady. Like, the guy's a mega popular, ultra rich, ultra athletic athlete, and his wife is like, that's not good enough. Like, seriously, that's what's happening now. And actually, speaking of relationship standards, that's what this next paragraph is about. With so many options, it's not surprising that women are increasingly selective. Hypergamy. I do a live TikTok show. That's his handle if you want to see it. I don't really give a shit about it. And speak with hundreds of audience members every week. I hear recurring dating themes from women between the ages of 25 and 45. They prefer men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. Okay, so this, sorry, this right here, this is all a crock of shit. Because, and the reason why I say that, and once again, not all women, but a lot of women these days, like, they want the exact opposite type of guy. Like, the types of men that they're choosing, he's not emotionally available. He's not a good communicator. He just sends the text at like 1 a.m. saying DTF, and she's already like wet in her pants. And share similar values. And the thing is, those guys, they're probably only faking their values just to get in their pants. Like that's most likely it. And the thing is, if they actually went out with the average guy who does possess all this right here, chances are they'd probably actually be happy and in a good relationship, and probably not be prowling the streets for Chad. So that's my little spiel on that. Like, women don't really want that. They like the butterflies. That's kind of what they're looking for. Next up, we have the skills deficit. For men, this means a relationship skills gap. Cha-ching! I just hear the cash register already going off in my head. That's the thing. It's the first thing my mind comes to when I see that. If not addressed, will likely lead to fewer dating opportunities, less patience for poor communication skills, and longer periods of being single. The problem for men is that emotional connection is the lifeblood of healthy long-term love. Emotional connection requires all the skills that families are still not consistently teaching their young boys. Now, the thing is, we have, right now, even among, like, average dudes like myself, it's like, we're slowly, like, bettering ourselves, like, as the days go on. Like, there are a group of men that actually, like, do that. And the thing is, it's like, as they slowly increase their sexual market value, like, they are stepping it up already. And that's the thing, they're already developing those skills, like, whether it be through their job, or like a weekly gathering or a club. It's like those guys are improving on that regard. Like, to them, it's like, why would I want to give up my time with the boys just to be with some chick whose pair bonding instinct is completely fried? Like, that's kind of how a lot of those guys think these days. And yes, of course, emotional connection is absolutely an important thing, but when she doesn't have the ability to pair bond, like, that is practically impossible for a guy to really, like, I guess, figure out would be the term. I can't really think of it right now. And then also, another skill deficit that this article is possibly referring to is the deficit between what a guy has to do to get her. Like, I mean, I've seen so many ridiculous dating profiles, even on my time on Hinge. Like, I've seen some pretty fucking ridiculous ones that are like, you have to have this, and this, and I'm just like, no thanks, not worth my time. And then also, it's just like, why do I have to, like, just waste my time trying to get you when I got better things to do? It's like, if you're gonna be an entitled bitch, then it's just like, nah, it's not even gonna be worth it to smash and dash. It's simple. It really is that simple. Like, I firmly believe that a lot of women these days, they're their own worst enemy, and it's because of this wall of standards that they just put up around them. And people say guys like myself have these insanely high standards. It's just a crock of bullshit. Next few paragraphs. While there's probably no chance of stemming the rising tide of unintentional single men, there is still some good news. The algorithms are becoming increasingly more complex on dating apps and other online platforms. One benefit is that great matches are on the rise. Hinge, one dating app, found through beta trials that 90% of users rated their first date positively, with 72% indicating wanting a second date. Gee, I wonder who's getting those dates. And I have the answer for that. It's actually those top 20% of guys who aren't about the whole smash and dash thing. Like and chances are that they probably are those average guys that, put some work into themselves and actually, I guess you could say, made something of themselves. Like they understand, they do understand like the nature of women. They understand how all this shit works, and it's like, they're actually selective. Like, guys are supposed to be the selective ones in terms of the species dynamic or the sexuality dynamic, whatever. And basically, it's like, yeah, those guys who aren't about just smashing and dashing someone, like, shockingly, someone who actually would take, someone out on a date. It's a shocker, I know. Continuing on, how can men reap the benefits of the algorithms? Level up your mental health game. That means getting into some individual therapy to address your skills gap. It means valuing your own internal world and respecting your ideas enough to communicate them effectively. It means seeing intimacy, romance, and emotional connection as worthy of your time and effort. Okay. Okay, I could certainly agree with the level up your mental health game. And I also agree, getting into therapy. And, if some of those skill gaps, like, that the article mentioned, are actual problems for you, like, it actually will be pretty worth it to go to somewhere like therapy. Although in general, therapy is largely meant for, like, dealing with, like, really, like, traumatic shit. And then also conviction. Guys, develop a sense of conviction for your beliefs. Lastly, it's like, yeah, this is an ideal. Like, intimacy, romance, like, that is something valuable. And if you could achieve that, like, it's actually, like, it can be fulfilling. But with some of the problems that I mentioned in, like, some of my other, like, dating videos before, it's like it's getting increasingly harder and harder. Whether it be, the top 20% of guys just smashing and dashing, thus, once again, it's a snowball effect. Smash and dash causes pair bond fried chicks, causes alpha widows, and, just it increases. And then there's you, who's probably stuck in that snowball somewhere. Next paragraph. Ultimately, we have an opportunity to revolutionize romantic relationships and establish new healthy norms, starting with the first date. Whoa! I'm so shocked! That's actually something useful. I know, it's coming from Psychology Today. That's something. It's likely that some of these romances will be transformative and healing, disrupting generational trauma, and establishing a fresh culture of admiration and validation. So, that's ultimately something that I value. It's like, no, I don't, like, to the chick possibly watching this video who's gone through who's been smashed and dashed before. No, going over to his apartment at 2 a.m. is not a date. It's not a first date. Getting something like ice cream or a coffee, like, that is, like, just like, icebreakers and all that, like, that's a first date. And that's actually important. That's actually very much important. And yeah, if we do, culturally speaking, uh, people my age, we already get way too much of this admiration and validation, especially if one of us is on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok because that shit rots your fucking brain, and I value my intellect. All right. um, but also, it's just like culturally speaking, what we need a culture of integrity, dignity. Although I'm sure those two are synonyms to each other. Um, respect, not smashing and dashing, actually vetting each other first before like doing anything too serious, and actually go on dates. Like it's simple, but unfortunately, it's gonna be kind of hard to go about. But I'd say the modern conservative movement has its heart in the right place, and when it comes to that. Anyways, let's go on to the last paragraph. Men have a key role in this transformation, but only if they go all in. It's going to take that kind of commitment to themselves, to their own mental health, to the kind of love that they want to generate in this world. Will we step up? Newsflash, and I already said this in this video. The guys are already stepping up. Really, it's the women that have to step up. It's the women that have to like start to learn how to ditch their instinct of hypergamy and actually learn how to vet like people that they meet and not go over to Chad's house at 2 a.m. just to be smashed. Like us guys, like we're already putting in the effort. Like even myself on a personal level, like I've been hitting the gym a lot more. Like I finally have a more consistent gym schedule. And even when it comes to like to the job front, I recently did an interview, which I think I smashed it, pun very much intended. Um, and I'm feeling confident that I get this this better paying job, and it's also something that's actually useful for the career path that I want to go down later on in life. Because once again, these videos are just a hobby of mine. Um, and so personally, I'm already stepping it up. Probably not as much as the guy writing this article would want me to, but once again, like that takes time. Like that doesn't like I don't think some like success does not happen instantly overnight. Like it does take some time to step it up, so to speak. And with that being said, thanks for watching this video. Friday's video or Saturday's video, that's kind of the days I'm thinking of uploading my next video. This week, surprisingly, I have a bit more free time than usual. Um, it's actually going to be an Odyssey exclusive. So every now and then, I am going to be uploading some Odyssey exclusive content, and it's probably because something might be A, too controversial, or B, I just want to generate some traffic over there. But with that being said, thanks for watching. Have a good day, everyone.